Hello students, welcome to my channel Hans Commerce Tutorial for the lectures on commerce, accounts, finance and management. My suggestion to you, before watching the video, please go to the description below my video. You'll find a link there. Take a printout of the problems given in the link and keep it ready before watching the video so that you can be able to understand the problem, the solution and the explanation to get the maximum benefit from the lectures. Thank you. Now we'll start the 18th problem. See the 18th problem. The following are the balance sheets of X Limited and Y Limited as on 31st December 2002. So two companies are given, X Limited and Y Limited. Equity share capital rupees 100 each, shares of rupees 100 each, 1 lakh rupees X Limited, 60,000 Y Limited. 6% debentures are there only in X Limited, 20,000. Reserve fund only X Limited, 36,000. Dividend equalization fund 4,000 only in X Limited. Employees provident fund 3,000 only in X Limited. Trade creditors 10,000 in X Limited and 8,000 in Y Limited. तो देखिए Y Limited में सिर्फ इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल है and trade creditors. We don't have any other liability or any other reserves in Y Limited. Now assets. Building X Limited 30,000. There is no building in Y Limited. Machinery is given in both. Stock, debtors, cash given both. Now the two companies agree to amalgamate and form a new company called Z Limited, which takes over the assets and liability of both the companies. That means these two, X Limited and Y Limited, are being bound up. And all the assets and liabilities of X Limited and Y Limited are taken over by a new company called Z Limited, specifically formed to take over the business. Then the authorized capital of Z Limited was 10 lakh rupees divided into 1 lakh equity shares of 10 each. This is just an information. We have to write this information in the notes forming part of financial statements in Z Limited. तो Z Limited की जब बैलेंस शीट बनाएंगे तो बैलेंस शीट के नीचे नोट्स में ये note number 1, share capital. Under share capital you have to specify authorized capital 1 lakh shares of rupee 10 each, 10 lakh rupees. Then draw two lines below the 10 lakh. It's only an information. Now the assets of X Company Limited are taken over at a discount of 10% with the exception of building which are taken at their book value. तो X Limited के जब assets ले रहे हैं तो पूरे assets में से 10% डिस्काउंट करेंगे, माइनस कर देंगे, except building which is taken at the book value. Remember only X Limited. Only X Limited. तो X Limited के जो assets लेंगे building को छोड़कर बाकी के assets में से 10% discount. Both the companies have to receive 5% of the net valuation of their respective business as goodwill. तो goodwill पे कर रहा Z Limited. 5% of the net valuation. Net valuation का मतलब net worth. तो what we'll do is, first we calculate the net worth of X Limited and Y Limited. जो भी net worth आएगा उसके ऊपर 5% calculate करेंगे, that is the goodwill. And after goodwill, after adding goodwill, we'll get the purchase consideration of both X Limited and Y. And what is net valuation? Net worth. How to get the net worth? Take the present value, agreed value of all assets minus agreed value of all liabilities. Remember, ये 10% जो discount करना है only for X company, not for Y company. The prepare necessary ledger accounts in the books of X Company Limited and Y Company Limited and show the opening balance sheet in the books of Z Limited. This is the complete problem. We are required to prepare the ledger accounts in the books of X Limited and Y Limited, and also the opening balance sheet in the books of Z Limited. So first of all, we'll begin with the calculation of purchase consideration. Now see, calculation of PC. X Limited, Y Limited. Assets, building. Building is there in X Limited, same 30,000. No reduction. In the problem it is given book value. The building will be taken over at book value. So book value 30,000 ले ली. There is no building in Y Limited. Then machinery. Machinery 1,10,000 rupees is given in X Limited. और X Limited के assets को 10% discount. तो 1,10,000 में से 10% निकाल दो, you'll get 99,000. And machinery of Y Limited will be taken at the book value. Y Limited के पूरे assets को book value पे लेंगे, discounting नहीं करेंगे. तो 50,000. स्टॉक 16,000 रुपीज इज गिवन इन एक्स लिमिटेड, तो वो 16,000 का 10% माइनस कर दो, you'll get 14,400. Whereas the stock of Y Limited, same book value, no reduction. Debtors. In X Limited, debtors are 14,000 minus 10% कर दो 12,600. Whereas the debtors of Y Limited 9,000 same as it is, no change. और cash balance तो दोनों का same. There is no question of any discount in cash. Cash तो जितना है उतना ही लेंगे, 3,000, 1,000. तो total agreed value of assets taken over is 1,59,000 and 68,000. अब एसेट्स में से लायबिलिटीज को माइनस करेंगे. लायबिलिटीज डिबेंचर्स आर देयर ओनली इन एक्स लिमिटेड 20,000, सेम जो बैलेंस शीट में दिया, सेम डिबेंचर्स. नो डिबेंचर्स इन वाई लिमिटेड. एम्प्लॉइज प्रोविडेंट फंड, दिस इज देयर ओनली इन एक्स लिमिटेड, नो नॉट इन वाई लिमिटेड, सेम अमाउंट. ट्रेड क्रेडिटर इज गिवन इन बोथ द कंपनीज ट्रेड क्रेडिटर वी हैव टेकन. तो टोटल ऑफ लायबिलिटीज आर 33,000, 8,000. Now we got A is the total of assets, B is the total of liabilities. Net valuation or net worth is A minus B. So A में से B, 1,59,000 minus 33,000, you get 1,26,000. 68,000 minus 8,000, you get 60,000. This is the net worth, net valuation. And in the problem it is given that the Z company is paying goodwill at the rate of 5% on the net worth. तो ये नेटवर्थ 1,26,000, इसका 5%, 6,300 is the goodwill, and 60,000 का 5%, 3,000 is the goodwill. Add the goodwill, 1,32,300 is the purchase consideration for X Limited, and 63,000 is the PC for Y Limited. Number of shares to be issued. It is given that Z company, the face value of each share is 10 rupees. So 1,32,300 divided by 10. 13,230 shares will be issued to X Limited. Similarly, 63,000 divided by 10, 6,300 shares will be issued to Y Limited. Total number of shares issued, 13,230 plus 6,300, 19,530 shares of rupees 10 each will be issued by Z Limited to both the companies. So first part we have completed, calculation of PC. Now we'll come to the ledger accounts in the books of X Limited. Ledger accounts in the books of X Limited. Realization account, equity shareholders account, two accounts are enough. So first of all, realization. While preparing the realization account, you must remember the entries. The first entry, transfer all assets to realization at their book values, not agreed values. एग्रीड वैल्यूज पूरे चेंज कर दिए, लेकिन रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट में बैलेंस शीट वैल्यूज नहीं. तो बैलेंस शीट देखिए, एक्स लिमिटेड की बैलेंस शीट, टू बिल्डिंग 30,000, टू मशीनरी 1,10,000, टू स्टॉक 16,000, टू डेटार्स 14,000, टू कैश 3,000. ऑल द एसेट्स ट्रांसफर टू रियलाइजेशन. नाउ लायबिलिटीज. अब लायबिलिटीज में 3 लायबिलिटीज है, दैट इज डिबेंचर्स है, बाय 6% डिबेंचर्स, बाय एम्प्लॉय प्रोविडेंट फंड, बाय क्रेडिटर्स. So all the liabilities are transferred to realization, all the assets are transferred to realization. Third entry will be PC due. Z company limited account data to realization. तो realization को create करेंगे by Z limited PC 1,32,300. We have passed all the entries. Now we have to find out there is profit or loss on realization. That will be transferred to equity shareholders. अब देखिए यहाँ पर debit side is more. Debit side का total 1,73,000 आ रहा है, और डेबिट साइड में से ये क्रेडिट साइड के ये 4 आइटम्स निकाल देंगे. -20,000, -3,000, -10,000, -1,32,300. तो बैलेंसिंग फिगर यू आर गेटिंग 7,700. दिस बैलेंसिंग फिगर इज द लॉस बिकॉज डेबिट साइड इज मोर. दिस लॉस विल बी ट्रांसफर टू इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर्स अकाउंट. द एंट्री विल बी इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर्स अकाउंट डेट आर टू रियलाइजेशन. तो इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर्स को डेबिट करना, टू रियलाइजेशन लॉस 7,700, और रियलाइजेशन को क्रिएट करेंगे बाय इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर्स लॉस 7,700. By passing this, the realization account is closed. Now we'll come to equity shareholders. Transfer the equity share capital and accumulated profits to equity shareholders. The entry will be equity share capital account data, all accumulated profits account data to equity shareholders account. तो इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर्स अकाउंट को क्रेडिट करेंगे बाय इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल 1 लाख, by reserve fund 36,000, by dividend equalization fund 4,000. Chaliye, all the capital and all reserves are transferred to equity shareholders. Now we'll find out the balance. अब ये क्रेडिट साइड पे 1,40,000 है और डेबिट साइड पे अभी जो लॉस आया 7,700, तो बैलेंसिंग फिगर यू आर गेटिंग 1,32,300. दिस इज द पेमेंट ऑफ परचेस कंसिडरेशन टू इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर्स. इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर्स का पीसी आया. हाउ मच इज द पीसी रिसीव्ड? 1,32,300 worth of shares are received by X Limited. So X Limited will give all these shares to equity shareholders. Entry equity shareholders account at to equity shares in Z Limited. So to equity shares in Z Limited 1,32,300. Now automatically your account should get closed to 1,40,000. If you commit any mistake here and there, this account will not get closed. Now it is closed. That means we have done correctly. Now similar procedure for ledger accounts in the books of Y Limited. Y Limited ledger accounts in the books of Y Limited. जैसा X Limited में बना है उसी तरह Y Limited realization. Transfer all assets to realization at their book values. So debit side to machinery 50,000, to stock 8,000, to debtors 9,000, to cash 1,000. All the assets are transferred. Now transfer all liabilities to realization. Only one liability is there, creditors. By creditors 8,000. Third entry PC due. So entry will be Z Limited account data to realization. So realization को create करेंगे by Z Limited PC 63,000. 63,000 is the purchase consideration. Already we have calculated here by PC. हो गया. Now we have to see whether there is profit or loss. Here there is profit. Credit side is more, 8,000 plus 63,000, you are getting 71,000. From 71,000 subtract minus 50,000, minus 8,000, minus 9,000, minus 1,000. The balancing figure is 3,000. So credit side is more, so there is profit of 3,000. This profit should be transferred to equity shareholders account. The entry will be realization account data to equity shareholders account. तो रियलाइजेशन को डेबिट कर दिया टू इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर्स और इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर्स को क्रेडिट करेंगे बाय रियलाइजेशन प्रॉफिट 3,000. ये 3,000 यहां पर डेबिट हो गया और यहां पर क्रेडिट हो गया. बाय पासिंग दिस एंट्री रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट इज क्लोज्ड. नाउ विल कम टू द इक्विटी शेयर्स. ट्रांसफर द इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल एंड एक्यूमुलेटेड प्रॉफिट्स टू इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर्स. बट वी डोंट हैव एनी एक्यूमुलेटेड प्रॉफिट इन वाई लिमिटेड. खाली कैपिटल है. तो इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल अकाउंट डेटा टू रियलाइजेशन बाय इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल अकाउंट डेटा टू इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर्स अकाउंट बाय इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल 60,000. That's it. Now the PC received 63,000 rupees worth of shares are given to equity shareholders. तो equity shareholders account डेटा to equity shares in Z Limited. तो to equity shares in Z Limited 63. Automatically the account is closed. Both sides equal. Y Limited is closed. So we have prepared the ledger accounts in X Limited. We have prepared the ledger account in Y Limited. Now lastly we have to make the balance sheet in the books of Z Limited. The blank balance sheet first you make. Equity and liabilities, shareholders fund, equity share capital number 1, reserves and surplus number 2. Non-current liabilities, long-term borrowings. Current liability, trade payable, short-term provisions. Total. Asset side, non-current assets, fixed assets, tangible assets, intangible assets, current assets, inventory, trade receivable, cash and cash equivalent. Already so many problems we have prepared the balance sheet. I think you got in the mind how to make the balance sheet format of a joint stock company. Now in notes forming part of financial statements. First note, share capital. It is given in the problem that the authorized capital of the company is 1 lakh shares of rupees 10 each, 10 lakh. तो यहां पर नोट्स लिखेंगे. नोट में फर्स्ट नोट लिखेंगे ऑथराइज्ड कैपिटल 1 lakh shares of rupees 10 each, 10 lakh. Put draw 2 lines below that. क्लोज कर दो उसको, इंफॉर्मेशन है खाली. उसके नीचे इश्यूड एंड सब्सक्राइब्ड कैपिटल. इश्यूड सब्सक्राइब्ड कैपिटल. अब उसमें कितने शेयर्स इश्यू करें यहां पर दिया है. बिकॉज दिस Z company is a new company just now formed, it will issue the PC to X Limited and Y Limited. So total number of shares issued to X Limited and Y Limited are 19,530 shares. 19,530 shares. So in issued and subscribed capital you should write on 19,530 shares of rupees 10 each. 19,530 shares of rupees 10 each is equal to rupees 1,93,300. The above shares are issued for consideration other than cash. That's it. ये note number 1 हो गया, 1,95,300. Reserves and surplus, it doesn't have any reserves and surplus. It's a new company formed. Dash. Long-term borrowings. In long-term borrowings, in notes you should write on third note. Long-term borrowings, debentures. एक कंपनी से डिबेंचर्स आए थे यहाँ by 6% डिबेंचर्स 20,000. तो लॉन्ग टर्म लायबिलिटी में लिखेंगे डिबेंचर्स 6% डिबेंचर्स 20,000, that 20,000. Trade payable means creditors. Take both the creditors of both the companies. Creditors here 10,000. Here creditors are 8,000. So 10,000 plus 8,000, 18,000. Here 18,000 credit. There is no space, that's why I'm not writing. But you must write all these things in the notes. I'm explaining. Now short-term provisions. In short-term provisions, we take staff provident fund. Here staff employee provident fund is there 3,000. So this 3,000 rupees will be shown under short-term provisions. हो गया. Liability side 2,36,300. Now we come to the asset side. Tangible assets. In tangible assets, we take building and machinery. Building and machinery. The present value, the agreed value we should take, not the book value. Balance sheet values नहीं लेंगे, बल्कि agreed value. यहाँ पर कितना हो गया? 30,000 plus 30,000 plus 99,000 plus 50,000. ये तीनों को ऐड कर ली. 30,000 plus 99,000 plus 50,000. तीनों का agreed value मिला लो, you get 1,79,000. उसी तरह intangible assets. Under intangible assets, you will take goodwill. So how much goodwill they have paid? Here it is given 6,300 plus 3,000, 9,300. So 9,300 is the goodwill. Then inventories, stock. Stock दोनों का agreed values मिलाकर लेंगे. Stock 14,400 plus 8,000, 22,400. Trade receivable means debtors. दोनों के debtors मिला लो. 12,600 plus 9,000, you will get 21,600. Cash and cash equivalent, add up the cash balance. 3,000 plus 1,000, 4,000. Here you can see 4,000. Now balance sheet 2,36,500. This is the end of the balance sheet of Z Limited. So I have explained you in detail each and every point. Hope you understood the complete solution of the problem. So we have completed problem number 18th. Come on students, we'll take up the last and final problem on amalgamation of companies. 19th problem will be the last problem. That's enough. If you practice these problems, if you listen, if you watch these videos, definitely I think you will get a lot of confidence in you. How to solve the problem and conceptual clarity will be there. So first, now I'm reading out the 19th problem. X Limited and Y Limited agreed to amalgamate by transferring their undertaking to a new company XY Limited. Just like the previous problems, X Limited and Y Limited are existing company. Both companies are wound up and a new company specifically formed, XY Limited, to take over the business of X Limited and Y Limited. Then on the date of amalgamation, balance sheet of the two companies were as under. Share capital, equity shares of 10 each, 5 lakh and 3 lakh, X Limited and Y Limited. Debentures are there 2 lakh, 1 lakh. Reserve fund 50,000, P&L account 20,000, 30,000, 20,000, mortgage loan on freehold property 50,000, sundry creditors 2 lakh 20, 1 lakh 30, sundry assets, both the companies are given, freehold property given, investment, sundry debtors, preliminary expenses. These are fictitious assets. It should be transferred to equity shareholders account. Now the purchase consideration consisted of the discharge of debentures in X Limited and Y Limited by the issue of equivalent amount of 6% debentures in XY Limited. So this X Limited and Y Limited, they are having debentures and those debentures are taken over by XY Limited and they are discharging by issuing their own debentures, 6% debentures, cancelling the old debentures and issuing the new debentures of the same amount. And assumption of the liabilities of both the companies. And the issue of equity share of 10 each in XY Limited at a premium of 2 rupees per share. The XY Limited, the purchasing company will issue equity shares of rupees 10 each at a premium of 2 rupees, 12 rupees per share it will issue. But for the purpose of amalgamation, the assets are to be revalued as under. These are the agreed value of assets. Goodwill, sundry assets, freehold property, investment, debtors. Pass the necessary journal entries in the books of X Limited and XY Limited. तो only in the books of one vendor company. ट्रांसफरर कंपनीज दो है, एक एक्स लिमिटेड भी है, वाई लिमिटेड भी है, बट वी आर रिक्वायर्ड टू पास द जर्नल एंट्री ओनली इन द बुक्स ऑफ एक्स लिमिटेड, वन ट्रांसफरर कंपनी, एंड वी हैव टू पास द जर्नल एंट्री इन एक्स वाई लिमिटेड, ट्रांसफरी कंपनी. Indicate the basis on which the shares in XY Limited will be distributed among the shareholders of X Limited and Y Limited. That means we have to show the PC calculation, how the shares of XY Limited will be distributed among the shareholders of X Limited and Y Limited. So first of all, we will calculate the purchase consideration, PC, net assets method. So X Limited, Y Limited, goodwill, sundry assets, freehold property, investment, debtors. All these values are the agreed values, not balance sheet values. In the problem, agreed values, at what price, at what value the purchasing company is taking over. Those agreed values I have taken. So total of assets 10,46,000, 6,50,000. Now liabilities. In outside liabilities, we have three. 5% debentures are there in both the companies. Mortgage loan is there only in case of X Limited. No mortgage loan in Y Limited. Creditors both the companies. So total 4,70,000, 2,30,000. Now purchase consideration, PC. So PC calculate करें A minus B. Assets minus liabilities. So 5,76,000 is the PC payable to X Limited, and 2,30,000 is the PC payable to Y Limited. So purchase consideration we got it. Now discharge of PC. Equity shares in XY Limited 10 rupees each, issued at a price of 12 rupees each. 10 रुपये का शेयर है लेकिन 12 रुपये में इश्यू कर रहा XY Limited. तो नंबर ऑफ शेयर्स टू बी इश्यूड टू X Limited 5,76,000 डिवाइड बाय 12. एक शेयर 12 रुपीस में इश्यू कर रहे, तो 48,000 शेयर्स विल बी इश्यूड टू X Limited. Similarly, Y Limited का PC 2,30,000. Here I have committed a mistake. 6,50,000 minus 2,30,000. That's what? 6,50,000 minus 2,30,000. 4,20,000. 4,20,000. 4,20,000 divided by 12, you will get 35,000. That's right. So PC is 4,20,000 for Y Limited and 5,76,000 for X Limited. Now you can see 5,76,000 divided by 12, you will get 48,000 shares issued to X Limited. Y Limited के लिए number of shares to be issued 4,20,000 divided by 12, 35,000 shares will be issued to Y Limited. This is the complete PC calculation and number of shares allotted to X Limited and Y Limited. Now we'll come to the journal entries in the books of X Limited, one of the transferor company. So while passing the entry, you have to remember all the sequence. First, transfer all assets to realization at book values, not agreed values. ये जो agreed values value है, ये value नहीं लेंगे, बल्कि balance sheet में जो values है, वो values को transfer करें. Realization account data to sundry assets, to freehold property, to investment, to debtors. All the assets are taken over. So all assets transferred to realization. Being the assets transferred to realization. First entry. Second entry, liabilities. All the liabilities are also transferred to realization. पूरे liabilities ले लिया, XY Limited has taken. तो 5% debentures account data, mortgage loan account data, creditors account data to realization. Being the liabilities taken over. Next is PC due. PC due entry will be transferee company account data to realization. What is the name of the transferee company? It is XY Limited. So XY Limited account data to realization 5,76,000 being the PC due. Now PC received. अब जो PC आ रहा है, only equity shares they are getting. They are not getting any cash. So equity shares in XY Limited account data to XY Limited. Equity shares in XY Limited account data to XY Limited 5,76,000 being the PC received. Now transfer. Transfer of equity share capital and a P&L account to equity share holders account. तो इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल अकाउंट डेटा 5 लाख, प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट डेटा 30,000 to equity shareholders 5,30,000. Being the equity capital and accumulated profits transferred to equity shareholders. Next is equity shareholders account data to preliminary expenses. One fictitious asset is given. In the balance sheet of X Limited, you can find asset side preliminary expenses. That preliminary expenses should be transferred to equity shareholders. So equity shareholders account data to preliminary expenses 20,000. Being the fictitious asset transferred. Now realization profit or loss. So here you can see debit side realization को debit करें हम 9,80,000. Here realization account is credited by 4,70,000. Here realization account is credited by 5,76,000. तो ये दोनों मिला लिया तो कितना हो गया 9 lakh 10 lakh something. So credit side is more. Credit side is more का मतलब profit हो गया. ये दोनों को ऐड करना 4,70,000 plus 5,76,000. I'll show it. 4,70,000 plus 5,76,000. 5,76,000. It comes to 10,46,000. From 10,46,000 subtract 9,80,000. You will get 66,000 rupees profit. 66,000 rupees profit. That profit will be transferred to equity shareholders. Entry will be realization account data to equity shareholders. Realization account data to equity shareholders 66,000. Being the profit transferred to realization. Last and final entry settlement of equity shareholders account. तो equity shareholders account data to equity shares in XY Limited. जो PC आया था 5,76,000 का ये पूरे shares equity shareholders को दे देंगे. तो equity shareholders account data to equity shares in XY Limited. Being the account of equity shareholders settled, closed. That's it. These are the journal entries in the books of X Limited. Now we'll come to the journal entries in the books of XY Limited, Transferee company. Journal entry in the books of XY Limited. First entry as usual, business purchase account data to liquidator of X Limited and liquidator of Y Limited. दोनों, क्योंकि दो liquidators है, दो vendor companies है, X Limited and Y. तो liquidator of X Limited 5,76,000, liquidator of Y Limited 4,20,000. दोनों को ऐड कर लो 9,96,000. This is the total business purchase. So being the business purchased and PC due. Second entry, debit all assets taken over at agreed values, not balance sheet values. At agreed values. जो agreed values है उसका total करें. पहले first of all goodwill account data balancing figure. ये बैलेंसिंग फिगर लेंगे गुडविल को, ये डायरेक्टली यहां पर ले सकते हैं 1 lakh plus 75,000. Here it is there. 1 lakh plus 75,000. 1,75,000 goodwill. Sundry assets. Add up these two. 4,10,000 plus 2,80,000. 6,90,000. You can see here 6,90,000. Freehold property 4 lakh. 260 plus 140. 4 lakh fixed freehold property. Investment 71,000. 51 plus 20. 71,000. Debtors 3,60,000. 225 plus 135, 3,60,000. Debentures, दोनों debentures को ऐड करो 2 lakh plus 1 lakh, 3 lakh. Mortgage loan 50,000. Creditors 3,50,000. And business purchase 9,96,000. So being the assets and liabilities taken over, second entry. Third entry, PC paid. Now purchase consideration has to be paid. तो लिक्विडेटर ऑफ एक्स लिमिटेड को 5,76,000 देना है और लिक्विडेटर ऑफ वाई लिमिटेड को 4,20,000 देना है. अब ये काय में देंगे शेयर्स. तो हाउ मेनी टोटल नंबर ऑफ शेयर्स यू कैन सी हियर 48,000 shares are issued to X Limited, 35,000 shares are issued to Y Limited. Add up 48,000 plus 35,000, you'll get 83,000. So total number of shares issued to both the companies 83,000. The face value of each share is 10 rupees. So 83,000 into 10, 8,30,000 rupees. 8,30,000 rupees is the share capital. Share premium. Each share 2 rupees premium. So 83,000 into 2, 1,66,000. Being the PC paid. Last and final entry, the debentures of the old companies are cancelled and new debentures are issued by XY Limited. तो पहले जो debentures थे X Limited के पास से 2 लाख रुपीस के debentures, Y Limited के पास से 1 लाख रुपीस, 3 लाख रुपीस के debentures आए हैं. तो डेबिट कर देंगे debentures of X Limited 2 lakh, Debentures of Y Limited 1 lakh. Now new debentures are issued by XY Limited to debentures of XY Limited 3 lakh. Being the old debentures cancelled and new debentures issued. That's all. So totally 19 problems we have done on amalgamation of companies. See, in this corporate accounting subject, first we have done liquidation of companies. Then we have completed just now amalgamation of companies. Hope if you are a genuine student, wants the knowledge about corporate accounting, watch the all videos of liquidation of companies and also amalgamation of companies. Don't take simply one in between. That means from the middle of the videos, if you watch, you will not get the complete knowledge. You have to keep a sequence. First, you watch the video of theory regarding what is amalgamation of companies, what are the concepts, what are the entries, all these things you can be able to know in the first video, theory video on this amalgamation. Then sequence will be there, 1, 2, 3, 4, part 1, part 2, part 3, like that. So many videos I have prepared giving the problems, how to solve the problem on amalgamation of companies. Hope you have gained a lot from these videos. Please like it, share it, and give the comments, valuable comments. Subscribe my channel and circulate among your groups. Send the link to all your group students so that more and more students can be able to get the benefit from these videos. So we have completed these 2 topics. Now inshallah in the next video I am going to explain about the next topic, that is internal reconstruction. Till then, goodbye, take care, all the best.